Northwest.
That could lead to some moderate to major flooding in parts of California.
As heavy snow buries mountain towns.
Life-saving rescue.
And nonstop rain turns neighborhoods into virtual lakes. Plus, people are still cleaning up following Tuesday's wild windstorm.
The wind was swirling and trees are cracking.
We'll look ahead to the Thanksgiving travel forecast.
This may be another atmospheric river event for the West Coast.
And the story behind the rescue of a manatee from a North Carolina river.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. A second bomb cyclone and atmospheric river are pounding the West Coast this morning, bringing heavy rain, gusty winds, and lots of mountain snow. The satellite image right here really helps you understand how this is happening. You can see the storm is bringing all that water from the Pacific Ocean and dumping on Washington, Oregon, and especially Northern California. Seattle meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell explains what we can expect over the next few days.
The West Coast is storm weary. On the heels of our bomb cyclone, another storm is spinning on up toward the Pacific Northwest right now. It will bring more wind to western Washington and Oregon, along with some heavy snow into the Cascades, and it's dragging behind it an atmospheric river that could lead to some moderate to major flooding in parts of California. Look at how lit up the West Coast is with all kinds of advisories and watches and warnings. We'll go through a couple of them. We've got an overall flood watch in much of Northern California because of the potential for heavy rain leading to rising waterways. We also have some flood warnings in the bright green shades, including through the north end of California and back toward Grants Pass, Oregon. Some of those rivers will be raging as this heavy rain comes in, courtesy of that atmospheric river. High surf along the Washington and the Oregon coastline sees an excess of 20 feet with dangerous sneaker waves and beach erosion there. And another high wind warning in place, especially for the southern Washington coastline near the Long Beach Peninsula. Gusts into Friday upwards of 60 miles per hour. Well, there goes the bomb cyclone, but the next disturbance coming up behind it will push on up toward the Washington and the Oregon coastline as we head into our Friday. We'll wrap up the week with the gusty winds again throughout Puget Sound, and then that trailing atmospheric river pulling into San Francisco, Redding, and into the Sacramento Valley. For the National Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell.
In Northern California, the storm dropped record rain and large amounts of snow that is being measured in feet at higher elevations. Trees and power lines have come down, and there's a risk for mudslides and also avalanche concerns. Sophia Bruinsma is in Siskiyou County along the California-Oregon border with more.
Life-saving rescues taking place on Mount Shasta in Siskiyou County on day 2 of California's atmospheric river, prompting serious avalanche concerns as snow piles and rainfall accumulates. Siskiyou County's Sheriff LaRue says this is the worst weather conditions he's seen in a very long time, with strong gusts that he's never experienced before, resulting in power outages, impacting cell towers, and negatively impacting the county's infrastructure, making it difficult for government agencies to mitigate the damage.
I've never seen them this high. We've had winds over 60 mile per hour. Which is causing its own issues.
Numerous Northern California wildfires have burned this year, resulting in burn scars, which Sheriff LaRue says could result in dangerous landslides. LaRue also says that the snow added with water from the rain is particularly dangerous because of the increased density, making it heavier and causing more downed trees.
The trees usually can't take all of that weight. And so they start to break and they start to come down. And then also for people's roofs, they wind up with a lot of snow load on top of structures.
Snowing on California's Mount Shasta since Tuesday. They are expecting up to 8 feet of snow by the time it stops on Saturday. The snow was so deep, many people were not able to leave their homes. Travel in the region is near impossible, and road crews cannot keep up with the pace of the falling snow. Combined with the strong winds, visibility was near zero at times. Some trucks even flipped and are still on the side of the road right now. You're looking at it. Flooding is also a real concern in Northern California. Evacuations have already been issued in Humboldt County, where major flooding along the Eel River is expected today. Further south, though, in Sonoma County, water covers many roads. Several rivers are at risk of flooding, so local schools are closed today. And we're getting a clearer picture of just how much damage this bomb cyclone caused in Washington state. The drone video shows the extent of all this wind damage, toppled trees, crushed homes like this one you're looking at right here. More than 150,000 customers are still without power. Neighbors told Lenan Wynn what it was like to live through the storm.
All around the Miramount area, you can see the destruction. Downed power lines, fallen trees, and debris everywhere you look.
Trees have come through the roof, and so there's damage. I mean, I would say that the roof the upper level probably has to be completely rebuilt. I mean, there's beams down and roof down, and it's open to the sky in a lot of places.
Crews working to remove the large trees that went through the top of Adam Pinsky's home. He was out of town at the time, but his wife was taking shelter in the basement.
It was pretty terrifying. I mean, I was on the phone with her for some of it, and yeah, I mean, she could hear trees falling and glass breaking, and it was pretty scary.
Across the street, Richard Tomaselli and his wife were also sheltering in the basement as they heard everything crashing down around them.
The wind was swirling and trees were cracking, and it was pretty intense.
Tomaselli helped get his neighbor to safety after trees heavily damaged her home.
It was crazy. Trees were crashing and stuff like that, but we crawled through all the debris and got her out of the house and got her back to our house safe and sound.
And we've been telling you how the bomb cyclone has impacted people's homes and also road travel. But a fallen tree stalled this Amtrak train that was traveling from Vancouver to Seattle Tuesday night. Now, no injuries were reported to any of the 48 passengers who were on board. An engineer was evaluated at the hospital and was treated and released. On the East Coast, snow is falling across many states this morning, especially, though, at higher elevations. The heaviest snow is expected to fall in upstate New York and northern Pennsylvania. Right now, winter alerts stretch from eastern Tennessee into New York. The storm came from the Midwest, where it dropped several inches on the Browns Steelers game last night, as well as Wisconsin earlier in the day. Cal Lawson has more from Appleton.
Titletown woke up Thursday morning to snow and wind, the first snowfall of the season. Snow built up on roads, creating slush as morning drivers went by and piled on branches and driveways, giving residents an early job before heading to work. 14-year-old Jude Freilich was getting ready for school, but not before lending a hand.
We like to shovel the neighbors' driveways a lot in the winter. We just have some time before school, and we just like helping other people.
While Freilich's dad helped others across the street, just up the road, another Appleton resident was getting the dust off his snowblower. Hours of heavy, wet snow may have made shoveling difficult, but it helped one Appleton resident with a different winter chore.
It's like, hey, it's snowing a lot. Might as well just come out here and make a snowman, so.
Jason Kano was up before most, piecing together his first snowman of 2024. Snow built up throughout the morning, leaving tire tracks behind each passing car. And while Freilich didn't mind helping his neighbors, he also wouldn't have minded a touch more snow.
I personally like the snow a lot.
And many of you are probably already thinking about the weather for the Thanksgiving holiday, especially those who plan to travel. Meteorologist Jordan Evans gives us a look at what the weather will look like across the country.
Overall, pretty quiet with plenty of sunshine, chilly temperatures, some showers possible across the south, and a storm system entering the west coast, which means on Thanksgiving Day, that system moving on land with some snow showers for parts of the Rockies, Montana to Idaho, and potentially some heavy rain. This may be another atmospheric river event for the west coast. We'll have to keep an eye on this forecast closely with rain in the forecast for San Francisco. Most of the country, again, Thanksgiving Day looking mostly quiet, quite chilly, and Minneapolis at 27 degrees, and seasonable around the East Coast and parts of the South. For the National Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist Jordan Evans.
And for all the latest and most up-to-date weather headlines, be sure to follow us on social media. We also post a ton of content from our team of meteorologists across the country. To find us, just search the National Weather Desk on your favorite social media platform or scan the QR code on the bottom left corner of your screen. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll show you the dramatic rescue of a manatee that got trapped in a North Carolina river. Plus, what you can do with all those fall leaves other than raking them and then putting them in the bags.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We have an action-packed forecast in the coming days with a slow-moving storm system right through Saturday and Sunday. Here we are this morning. That rain in parts of New England is lifting north. It's still snowing back into New York and Pennsylvania. Notice some sun returning. It's a sneaky nice day for a good chunk of New England. Then the next round of rain moves back into the picture for tonight and into the day on Saturday. That's about 11 o'clock in the morning. It gets windy on Sunday and temps will stay in the 40s.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the mid-Atlantic region. We're tracking the same storm system lingering around to bring precipitation across the entire region through Friday, starting out as a rain-snow mixture mainly in the morning, transitioning to all rainfall in the lower altitudes, but high-altitude snow through the mountains will continue through Friday before the system finally pulls away and we dry out for your Saturday. Temperatures stay pretty chilly, highs only in the 40s for highs on Friday. Saturday will only warm up to the 50s.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs. We're looking at Raleigh, 52 degrees, Atlanta, 51, Mobile coming in at 62 degrees, Jacksonville, 61, Tampa about 69 degrees. We're looking at plenty of sunshine behind the cold front, ushering in nice chilly temperatures across the southeast, fall-like weather, and it looks like we're going to see mostly clear conditions across the southeast, a little bit of stormy weather along the New England regions and around the Great Lakes, a little bit of snow action, but it looks like we're going to see nice clear conditions through the weekend.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Positive developments in the fight against a bacterial disease that has devastated orange and grapefruit crops in Florida. Research has so far yielded 2 fruits that seem to be immune to this disease. Dylan Huberman has more on these huge breakthroughs.
Travis Murphy has been growing citrus for nearly 60 years on the Treasure Coast, but a bacterial disease called citrus greening has wrecked his business.
Devastated. We lost 1,000 acres, my family did, and it's devastated the state, not just me. I'm just one of them, one of many.
Those citrus researchers may be able to help growers like Murphy recover. Here's Dr. Flavia Zambon at the University of Florida's research grounds in Fort Pierce.
I've been working citrus for 15 years, and I never worked with citrus that never had citrus greening.
Not just 1, but 2 grapefruit hybrids appear to be tolerant of citrus greening. Dr. Zambon says one of the hybrids is Triumph, an older hybrid that is now standing tall above citrus greening. The second one, dubbed UF914, has the potential to change the citrus industry for the better.
We're seeing great tolerance for the plant, incredible yield, and a juice quality that also hits the industry standards. Seeing something that can potentially have impact in the industry for the growers, for the public, it is amazing.
Murphy is ecstatic.
That gives our industry hope because we need to transfer those genes from these varieties to a new variety in the breeding program that will help bring our industry back.
Now that UF has done the research, it's up to the growers to incorporate these hybrids in their plans in the coming years.
Eastern North Carolina is home to all kinds of wildlife, but as temperatures get colder, it's time for manatees in the state to head south. Earlier this week, one manatee had to be rescued from a river after becoming trapped. Elena Lasser looks at how officials were able to save the animal as water temperatures in the river dropped dangerously low.
We always have the best hope that this animal is going to continue heading south where it should be this time of the year. But it kind of got locked into a warm water outflow at a wastewater treatment area.
Brant Gabriel is the curator of rescue operations for SeaWorld Orlando. He says that any temperature below 68 degrees can become detrimental to manatees.
The water temperatures were dipping down to a a very critical temperature.
Manatees are prone to move toward fresh and brackish waters, says Gabriel. So to him, it really is not too surprising that this one found her way here, especially in creeks and spaces where there's warmer water from a factory.
Factories, power plants, anywhere that's discharging warmer water.
But some may wonder how she ended up in the Tar River this far north. Gabriel says it isn't very unusual.
The water's definitely warm enough for their survival. There's food sources up there. But as the cold weather comes in and the temperatures drop, they should be heading back south.
She had been found severely dehydrated and with a watercraft-related injury. It became clear to the rescue team that if they did not capture her in that moment, she wouldn't make it.
To me, she's very critical right now. But I can tell you this, that the guys did see her start to nibble on vegetation yesterday here at the park.
It's that time of the year when many of us will do our final raking of the season, but there are other things you can do with all those fall leaves. Meteorologist Sarah Converse looks into alternatives to raking and bagging those end-of-season leaves.
Raking and bagging leaves can be a tedious task, so why not leaf it on the lawn instead?
So we want to make sure we're putting those leaves to use.
Corey Sedmak with Franklin Soil and Water Conservation District says leaves can provide nutrients for your trees.
Raking the leaves up around what's called the drip line of the tree. So basically where the longest branches of the tree come out, just creating an area under the tree of those leaves will help the nutrients in the leaves go back into the tree so it can be nice and full and healthy the next year.
They also create shelter and food for wildlife during the winter.
Moths will overwinter in the leaves, and even if you don't like those moth caterpillar type things, things like birds and turtles really love to eat those over the winter. So keeping the leaves right underneath the tree offers them some food.
If you don't like seeing the leaves in your yard, curbside pickup is okay too. However, don't put them with the regular trash.
You don't want your leaves in the trash because in the landfill, things actually don't break down, or they take tens and tens decades in order to break down, even something like a leaf or an apple core.
Corey recommends saving leaves for food composting, as it can even help reduce the smell.
The end of leaf raking also means it's likely time to start using your heater. Small electric heaters can be a real danger if they're not used properly. Mary Gracie Armistead looks at what you can do to make sure you and your family are safe and warm this winter season.
Fires from putting portable heaters close to other objects is a frequent issue that firefighters respond to. According to Bobby Stevens, interim fire marshal with Morehead City Fire EMS, 86% of heater fires happen when it gets too close to something flammable and catches on fire. I asked him what people should look for when buying a portable heater.
You want to check for the tip over control. What this is it's not the thermostat. It's totally different from the thermostat. Is if the heater gets knocked over or gets tilted to a certain point, it automatically cuts itself off. That is a must.
If you are cranking up the heat for the first time, one thing you might notice is the smell of the heater.
They're heating up. They're just burning off that little bit of dust that's accumulated over the summer seasons, and we get a lot of calls to that. People, I got smoke in the house. I smell smoke, and that's pretty much just what it is.
I also spoke with Craven County Emergency Services Director Stanley Kite, who says some of the calls he went to could have been prevented.
Sometimes people, through mistake, lay towels on them or clothing materials. We've had a lot of history in past years where children sometimes would want to warm their clothes up before they put them on a cold morning, but they would forget or change their mind or get distracted.
You may think that turning on the heater means turning off your ceiling fan, but that's actually not the case here. Meteorologist David Glenn explains how ceiling fans can still be useful during the cold winter season.
Many of you are going to be turning on your heat for the first time this season. And I want to remind you that you can use your ceiling fan to your advantage, yes, even as the colder season approaches. Now, of course, we use our ceiling fans quite a bit here in the Southeast, especially during the summer months and during the warm season, because when it's on the summer setting, it spins counterclockwise. That forces the air down, produces that wind chill effect that we feel. But there's a little switch on the top, just above the blades there, that has an S and a W. One's for the summer setting, one is for the winter setting. And you definitely want to use this to your advantage as temperatures get colder. When we turn our central heat on, that heat starts to rise, and a lot of it gets trapped at the ceiling. Well, in the winter setting with the ceiling fan, the now clockwise motion forces that heat back down and heats the room a bit more evenly. So as the temperatures start to change and temperatures start to drop, be sure to change that setting, use it to your advantage, and even save a little money on the heating cost.
And as we head to break, here's a look at Bedford Buffalo Ranch in Pennsylvania.
Well, a very good Friday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. Cold across the plains today, but we got a little bit of a rain-snow mix moving out of the Ohio Valley today, and a lot of clouds across the eastern part of the Midwest for the day today. It's going to be a bit of a chilly Friday for us as we head on into your Saturday. Quiet for most of the Midwest, and temperatures trying to warm up a little bit more for us on Saturday. Sunday, maybe a little bit of snow up in the Dakotas. Otherwise, pretty quiet.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. A little chilly this morning for our friends in Oklahoma, back over to Amarillo, and even down toward El Paso into the 40s into Midland as well. You get down to San Antonio, also in the 40s. It's warm right along the coast of New Orleans, down into Brownsville. Not much happening today, just high pressure comes sliding off to the east. That'll bring more moisture back in and a few more clouds back across the region. Otherwise, going to be a mild day, a little warmer. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. That's a look at your regional weather.
Well, hi there and a good Friday morning to everybody. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Out west, it is just another storm-weary day. We've got more wind that's going to pull into western Washington, more gusts up to 50 miles per hour. And then in California, especially north of San Francisco, heavy rain getting pulled in behind that low. This will be courtesy of an atmospheric river. Major flooding possible in the north end of the Sacramento Valley and into southern Oregon. And that's the scene from here.
Watching the National Weather Desk.
And here's meteorologist Katie Morgan with a look at the weekend football forecast.
The weekend almost here, and that means another weekend filled with a bunch of great matchups. We're going to start, of course, with our college football matchups here. A lot of eyes in Ohio this weekend. Indiana taking on the Buckeyes, and weather's looking pretty good. Mainly sunny skies, mid-40s. A night game in South Bend, another great matchup. Army versus Notre Dame. Temperatures chilly in the low 40s with mostly cloudy skies. And we have rain to talk about in Los Angeles. USC taking on UCLA with temperatures in the 50s at kickoff. To Sunday we go in our NFL matchups. More rain expected here. This all associated with that large storm system off the west coast. Upper 40s at kickoff with showers possible for an afternoon game. And then we head to the nation's capital where the Patriots are in town taking on the Commanders. Looking good here. Mainly sunny skies with 50s. Feeling nice and warm in Miami. The Cowboys in town taking on the Dolphins with a partly cloudy sky. Hope everyone has a great start to your weekend. I'm meteorologist Katie Morgan.
And for more great weather content, be sure to check us out on social media. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great Friday. Have a wonderful weekend as well, and we'll see you right back here on Monday.